Showtime! The Capital G show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here. We're talking about outstanding dog Marron in this video, and specifically its use in Shaddolls. Wondering, is this silly or is it actually ingenious? For those of you guys who don't know what this card is or what it does or any of the effects or anything like that, it's a very simple card. I think it's only one line of text. It's a beast level 1, 100 attack, 100 defense monster. It's light attribute, and the effect is when this card is sent to your graveyard, add it to your deck and shuffle it. So basically, anytime it hits the graveyard, it just goes right back into the deck. And I found this to be probably the most interesting thing to come out of YCS Toronto, because there was a Shadoll version or a Shadoll variant that a player ran, and I believe he got a top 4 finish, and he went undefeated in Swiss, and he ran this card as the only light monster in his entire Shadoll deck. And I was like, wow, you know what I mean? I know about MegaCapitalG Marron, I know of this card. Let me look it up right quick and try and figure out why he ran it. And I actually think that this was a stroke of genius. And we all know that Shaddolls, you know, the entire archetype is dark. So, well, you know, the main monsters anyway, not counting the fusions. But the deck still inherently needs light monsters right now because, you know, with light monsters, you have the ability to make construct. And some people run Thunder Dragon because it gives you quick fodder for super poly, and the soul charge plays allow you to make like Michael and Pallades and stuff like that. There's Equip's Wyvern, which can trigger and search out Dark Arm Dragon. People like to run White Dragon because it can replace itself if it's destroyed or tributed, and it also opens up some, you know, rank 4 XC plays with the other Shaddolls, or maybe another copy of a Dragon card like, you know, Dart Dragon or something like that. And lastly, I would say probably the last popular engine is like the Light Torn engine, because monsters like Lila and Phalis, they can actually, when they mill, they can trigger Shadoll cards. Lila gives you spell and trap removal. And I think that they all have their merits. They all clearly have synergy within the deck. But the reason that I think that Outstanding Dog Marron is just a really, really good card in this deck is because not only is it the only light monster that you'll ever need to run, so there's no reason to have to run 6, 7, 5, you know, light monsters when this one card literally does the job of all of them, but people have often said when playing Shaddolls in the late game that they tend to run out of steam, because once you've used up your resources and you've tried to do all your big power plays, you can't effectively use Shadoll Fusion, you know, at least using cards from your deck, because you don't have anything left. I mean, you may have like maybe 4 Shaddolls and no light monsters, and that's just not going to get the job done if you need to get over a BLS or you need to get over a really big monster and you really need to desperately use construct. And in the OCG, they don't have this problem, because in the OCG, they have Pot of Avarice. So you could just send back 3 darks and 2 lights, and you'd be able to use fusion 2 more times and not have to worry about anything. But with MegaCapitalG Marron, you never are going to run out of light targets unless this thing gets banished somehow, like your opponent debunks it or something. It doesn't matter if you discard it for super poly or if you use it with Shadoll Fusion straight from the deck, it just automatically goes right back into the deck. So you'll never ever run out of light targets. And then the second thing I love about this card is, and actually it should be the most obvious, the fact that it just saves you so much damn room. I mean, you look at this guy's deck, he was able to fit 3 upstarts, 2 super polys, and 3 MSTs all in the main deck, because he only had to run 1 light monster, you know, MST to stop that Vanity's Emptiness, which is one of the defining cards of the entire format. Upstart gives you speed, and then we all know how powerful super poly is in the Shadoll deck. So the one thing that I would say for anyone who's turned off by the amount of offense that you'll lose is think about all the space that you're going to save in your deck. Think about all the tech choices that maybe you've wanted to experiment with in Shaddolls, and now maybe about 4 or 5 spots just opened up in your deck and you're like, wow, I can totally play this, that, and the third. And the other thing I would say is, if you're running a light engine of multiple monsters, you know, 5, 6 cards, maybe even as small as 4 cards, when you're using Shadoll Fusion and you're sending them straight from the deck to the graveyard, are any of those monsters actually doing anything? I mean, outside of Equip's Wyvern, which, I mean, for the most part, you have to run alongside Dark Arm Dragon, so that's like a multiple card investment just running that card alone. I mean, what really does anything when it hits the graveyard? I mean, the only other card that I can really think of is Rainbow Karibo, so don't look at the card and think, oh, well, if I send it to the graveyard, I don't really get to trigger it. I mean, none of the other cards, White Dragon or Lila or Phalis, when you dump them straight from the deck with Shadow Fusion, they don't do anything either. So, you know, there's no real reason to be turned off by this card. Obviously, you lose the ability to run BLS, and, you know, some of your Soul Charge plays aren't nearly as powerful, but overall, I just like the fact that it gives you so much more space, which means that you can kind of start putting in stuff, you know, stuff for the side deck into your main deck. You can add in tech choices if you like. I just like the freedom of being able to have like way more space, you know, like 4 or 5 extra spots in my deck just open up and I can put whatever the hell I want in them. You know, so let me know what you guys think. I think that it's good. I think that it's not going to go away. Thank you for watching as always.
Subscribing makes life happy.